DMT is going to be legal or decriminalized in Oakland, California, which really actually makes sense because salvia divinorum is legal, and that's kind of like DMT in a way, because you smoke it and you trip for a very short period of time, but it's actually a really horrible drug because it basically makes you have a bad trip. Don't smoke salvia divinorum. Smoke DMT instead. I keep seeing these news articles on social media, and I talked about a few of them in a video that I recorded that I haven't uploaded yet. A video about my reaction to Denver legalizing shrooms. But right now, I'm recording another video, specifically about the topic that these articles are about. Let me show you some of the articles I'm talking about. Here's one. As Denver decriminalizes mushrooms, major city moves to decriminalize ayahuasca, ibogaine, too. And here's another one. I already talked about this one in my video reacting to the news that Denver legalized shrooms. As you can see in this article, it says a group is pushing for the decriminalization of psychedelic drugs, which, as they say right here, means ayahuasca, psilocybin from mushrooms, ibogaine, and cacti plants. I recorded like an hour of myself talking and pointing out things in news articles in my video reacting to Denver legalizing shrooms, so I am not going to be able to edit that video footage and put it online immediately. But I did already talk about this on camera, so I feel like I'm repeating myself. Because I am. Because I would like to point out something that the media isn't telling you. Yet again, I'm going to point out something the media isn't telling you. I would like to point out something about the media's particular use of words. I would like to show you something from the first article I showed you. In this article, it describes the resolution. Here, as you can see, it says it would bar police and city officials from using city funds to assist in the enforcement of laws, imposing criminal penalties for the use and possession of the plant and fungi-based substances. The plant and fungi-based substances, which, as it says in this other article, means ayahuasca, psilocybin from mushrooms, ibogaine, and cacti plants. So let's see. Psilocybin can be extracted from mushrooms, so you would be able to have mushrooms or psilocybin. Ibogaine can be extracted from a plant. You would be able to have the ibogaine or the plant. Psychedelic cacti plants contain mescaline, so theoretically you would be able to have either a plant, a cacti plant, or mescaline. If you can have psilocybin from mushrooms, you could have mescaline. And then there's ayahuasca. What drug is in ayahuasca? Well, that would be a drug called DMT, which this webpage says is not a drug, but something much stranger. And which, after telling you what it is, encourages you to tackle the experience head on, which, according to this article, also recently widely circulated on social media, humans have been using for at least 1,000 years. See, that's what was in the bag. DMT. Which, according to this article on Rooster, it's not a whole big ordeal like people think. Kids are actually smoking it at parties. Even 15 to 17-year-old kids. Like this anonymous 17-year-old kid interviewed by Rooster who started making it in his basement at 17 and smoked it before school and says it's a real pick-me-up to smoke it before school. So when I first saw this, as I said in my video that I have not yet uploaded, reacting to shrooms being legalized in Denver, the very first thing I said is, oh, does that mean that DMT is going to be legal? Because if you can extract psilocybin from shrooms and ibogaine and mescaline and all of those other things, then I guess you could also extract DMT and it would be legal. So DMT is going to be legal or decriminalized in Oakland, California, which really actually makes sense because salvia divinorum is legal, and that's kind of like DMT in a way because you smoke it and you trip for a very short period of time, but it's actually a really horrible drug because it basically makes you have a bad trip. Don't smoke salvia divinorum. Smoke DMT instead. So, in honor of this pending future legalization of DMT in Oakland, California, and that absurd article about how 17-year-olds are smoking DMT as a pick-me-up before school, I am going to tell you a story. And the funniest thing about this story is that there are pictures and videos to prove it's true. But unfortunately, I don't have the videos. So without further ado, it was 1998, sometime in the late fall, sometime possibly in September or October. I'm not exactly sure when it was, but whenever exactly it was late fall or early winter in 1998, and I was 15 years old. And a friend of mine named Steve was possibly 20 or 21 years old, and he drove a Volkswagen bus, and he had a friend that he met at college. And I really want to say that her name was Janet, but if it wasn't Janet, I'm sorry. If it wasn't Janet, I don't remember what her name was. But I do remember that she was black, and she may have been studying film at her college. And Steve wanted to take me to a festival that was purported to be a music festival. It was called the Harvest Festival, and it was at Echo Lake Campground in Afton, New York. And the Harvest Festival was not only a music festival, it was an unofficial cannabis cup for all of the marijuana growers in upstate New York at the time. They brought samples of their marijuana, they gave them away for free, everybody smoked them, and then they voted, and the winner got a trophy and a pipe. So my parents obviously didn't know that this was a marijuana festival that I was going to at the age of 15, but I knew, and I was very excited to go. Anyway, I got into Steve's Volkswagen bus, and the woman who I'm going to call Janet got into the bus too, and she had one of those old-fashioned over-the-shoulder video cameras that recorded on real VHS tapes. And, by the way, we were in New Jersey. And if a copy of this video still exists anywhere, I would love to see it. Janet, if that is your name, if you have a copy of the video footage that you took at the Harvest Festival at Echo Lake Campground in Afton, New York in 1998, please send it to me. Because as you are about to hear, some of the video footage was just hilarious. We drove from Steve's house to his friend's house who was going to go to the festival with us. And when we parked in front of his friend's house, while Janet was recording, the neighbor came out screaming in an angry rage in front of his two daughters who looked like they were around the age of 5 or 6 years old, who looked like they had just come home from church because they were wearing long dresses that were really, really fancy. And this man was screaming in an angry rage because hippies in a Volkswagen bus were parked in front of his house. And as Janet stood there recording, this man screamed the most horrible obscenities at us. He said You goddamn motherfucking hippies and your goddamn motherfucking Volkswagen buses. Get the fuck out of here or I'm gonna call the police on you. And I said to these people, your neighbor is crazy. He's screaming at you for no reason. Can't you call the police on him? And they said no. He always calls the police on us. We're actually trying to move. So we got into the Volkswagen bus and proceeded to drive to Afton, New York. And at that point, my friends went in one direction to film their documentary about the festival, and I went in the other direction to party. There are some of the little kids that were at the festival. That was in the room where the cannabis cup contest was held. And if you're wondering why there is a pack of rolling papers over their faces, well, that is the item I found to cover their faces with because of the nature of this story. And there are some of the adults at the same festival. I was running around with a camera at this festival taking pictures of numerous people, including myself. There is me at the age of 15 years old, before my face got fucked even. And in this picture, I was very, very, very high on LSD. I had gotten puddled by accident along with some guy, and then we took pictures of each other. And there's the guy with his face also covered. I still have the pictures, as I said, to prove this story. I think I had taken about 50 or 60 hits of LSD about an hour before that picture was taken. But that's actually not what this story is about, because that was not actually the first time that I did LSD. But it was the first time that I did another psychedelic called DMT. So I guess that kids or teenagers around the age of 15 were smoking it at parties, at festivals, like when I was 15. And even though some of these articles that have been circulating on the internet recently seem to be insinuating that it's like a new thing that the kids are doing these days that like they didn't used to do, that's like not true. It was not as common when I was a teenager, but people were doing it, and I was one of them. So why isn't the media saying Oakland, California is about to legalize all natural psychedelics, including DMT? Why are they using the word ayahuasca? Why do they feel safe saying they're going to legalize mushrooms and psilocybin, but they're not saying ayahuasca and DMT? Well, that's because people would freak out. Just like the cop freaked out when he saw my flyers that said legalize LSD in the USA. A certain percentage of people would freak out a lot more at the suggestion of legalizing DMT than legalizing ayahuasca, something that you drink in a ritual with a shaman, usually when you're really physically or mentally ill, that makes you like vomit for hours and is like a really unpleasant experience compared to just plain old DMT. Ayahuasca is not exactly something that kids are going to be smoking for fun parties. And that's why they're using that word, because they don't want people to say, DMT, what? They want to legalize what? And like freak out. But that's exactly what the Illuminati is trying to do. They want to legalize DMT. As I said in a video that I have already recorded but haven't yet uploaded or edited actually. Dang, I probably sound really ridiculous when I say stuff like that. But anyway, as I said, it really is just like Alex Jones said. In this video that I'm not going to play clips of, because I already played clips of it in my video where I reacted to Denver legalizing shrooms. But as you can see from the title and description, it says the government is using psychedelics to communicate with aliens. He is talking about DMT. See that? There's another video about what he calls the DMT conspiracy. They're even doing studies to try to scientifically determine if the spirits or aliens or whatever people see on DMT are real. This article actually talks about scanning people's brains on DMT and trying to determine if the electrical signals are imagined or a reaction to something they're really seeing. Because somebody in the Illuminati really believes that the aliens are real, and they really believe that when people do DMT, that they are talking to the aliens, and they really believe that people can bring back alien technology, and they can get it, and they can use it, and make money, or control people, or do whatever they want to do. And that is the reason that they are allowing psychedelics to be legalized, especially ones containing DMT. Because as I said in my video about shrooms, which you probably haven't seen yet, because this is probably going to be uploaded before that video, psilocybin turns to DMT in your brain, and in the middle of your shroom trip, you're actually tripping on DMT. And that's why they're also kind of trying to sneakily legalize DMT by having all of the news articles about it call it ayahuasca and not DMT, because they don't really want to scare people, and they don't really want people to think about it too much and try to figure out what they're really doing. But that's what they're really doing, and I figured it out, so I'm telling you. I actually didn't even figure it out. I just kind of immediately knew the minute I saw the list of things they said they were going to legalize. As I said, I immediately said, oh, that means DMT is going to be legal in Oakland, California. Isn't that weird? I just can't get over how weird that is. And pretty soon, since Denver legalized shrooms, I'm going to be going to Denver to celebrate my 20-year anniversary. I'll be doing shrooms in Denver 20 years to the day from when I first did shrooms. So I guess if Oakland legalizes all plant-based psychedelics, I will also have to do something to celebrate that. Maybe I'll also do shrooms in Oakland and also smoke some DMT. For now, I'm going to end this video. And as I think about what I'm going to say as I end this video, I'm thinking about how my parents are going to react when they see it. Because as I said, I am certain that when my mother let me go to that harvest festival when I was 15, she had no idea that it was like a marijuana and psychedelic festival. And she probably will find out when she watches this video. So, hi, Mom. And bye to everyone else. And share this video with your parents, especially if you do psychedelic drugs and they never have. Because if you haven't talked to them about it, it's very likely that they may have read news articles, like this article in Rolling Stone magazine, which is basically encouraging people to try shrooms for their depression and telling them everything they need to know about how to grow them or ship them in the mail. So before your parents or somebody else that you know who doesn't know anything about psychedelics or how they work ends up trying them and like trips out or something, if you have done them and your relative has not, talk to them before they like try them on their own, not knowing why they work and why and how they help with things like depression. And now that I have said that, I am going to end this video. Please like this video, share this video with your parents. You absolutely have to send it to your parents. And also, as always, watch my other videos and subscribe to my channel. Bye!